Hey everyone, Eggman here with another video, and the OP12 section of Eggman events has been updated with a couple of events and a couple deck lists you can find linked in the description. And to kind of commemorate that, I do want to kind of go over this video going over the intro to the OP12 format for Japan right now. It's a little bit of an atypical thing for me. I normally just kind of focus on the English format, but we are headed towards global unification sometime next year. And so because of that, I want to just kind of go over, just get used to looking at Japanese deck lists and finding them and getting getting them sorted and stuff. So to kind of commemorate that, I want to kind of make this video. So a couple of things to note though. One, this is a format that we're just never going to get in the United States currently, or at least in the English format of this game. They have OP12 legal, they have Star Deck 22 legal, which we're going to get in September, which will still be part of our OP12 format, but that's one thing to note right now. But also they currently don't have their Star Deck 23 to 28 out in Japan. So that's something that did have a big shift in us for our format. Obviously, they are kind of helping other decks become viable instead of just kind of bringing up the game in general, I think. So that means that there are some decks that we're going to go over today that don't get any support from these star decks and will be doing pretty well because of it, or, without that kind of support. But that is just something to kind of note, is that there is going to be kind of a difference. These are not going to be like one-for-one deck lists for when we get the OP12 set in August. But I do think that's something that, looking into this, it's a lot of fun. I know a lot of people are looking forward to some of the new leaders that we get from OP12 too, and I want to kind of provide that resource. So if you guys are new to the channel, please make sure to hit that like and subscribe if you haven't already. We make a lot of content for the One Piece card game, and I won't want you guys to miss it. So we do have like two of these event breakdowns. We also do have the deck list table, which we have over 40 deck lists for this too, and then I have been tagging them based on this format as the Japanese OP12 pre-starter deck. So once we get the starter decks out in Japan, I will update the new deck list with that tag, so you can kind of see like the divide between the two of them. Of the bigger events, and this is kind of like the reason I wanted to go over these, is because we do have these really high profile events in this format, even though it's kind of like not the end game format for OP12. There has been a lot of results. I don't have all the deck lists for these. I have a good amount of them though. So for example, the Hokkaido event, they did have a top 8 cut where there were 4 copies of OP11 Luffy, and then 3 copies of the new Zoro, 1 copy of the old Zoro, and it was a Zoro v Zoro in the finals, with the red one ended up getting it as well. And then we do have the Kyoto Championship Series, so a little bit larger event. They had a top 16 cut instead. Still 50% of the blue and purple Luffy. They have a couple copies of the EBO2 Luffy, which we weren't able to get deck lists for. That are the silvers, unfortunately, which I do know the silvers Rayleigh, a lot of people are hoping to get some of these deck lists. So if I end up finding them, I will be updating this page with them. But we do have the first place Nami, the second place Rob Lucci, and then top 16 of the blue purple Luffys and a blue and yellow Nami, which I really like this deck. We'll talk about Nami in a little bit, but it's such a weird format for this leader for us, because we are like clearly missing cards that are already doing well in Japan. So that's kind of the rough thing for me with that as well. But we do see purple Luffy doing very well. This is before we get the star deck, so like blue and purple Luffy is doing well, but we can also get black and purple Luffy make an appearance, which it has been here in North America as well. And no copies of mono purple Luffy though. And I also think like we'll see like the purple Luffy's didn't get that much support either. So that's kind of just my overview on some like events and stuff that have been happening. I think that it's not crazy. Like we'll look at lists of blue purple Luffy as well. It's not changing. It's the same deck build. It's still doing essentially as well, and it's not really going anywhere organically, I think, at this point. So we'll see if they did have like their next like presentation earlier this month, where they said that they have been identifying, or they've been looking at what the meta looks like, to seeing if there has to be any changes in the next couple of weeks. So I think that these two events have clearly shown that something probably needs to change. I'm not sure exactly what it is. Gum Gum Giant's the one that I know a lot of people are talking about, but we'll see if anything does change in the next little bit. So other than that, we will go over some deck lists. We're going to start off with the new leaders. There are 6 of them, but only 4 of them have been able to find results for. So we're going to start off with Zoro, which has been, I think, one of the more popular ones, and one that's been very, one popular to play as, but I also know a lot of people are looking forward to this. The leader effect one, it's a supernova green leader, which is already just identifiably good in in this meta with our card pool. Dawn ×3 activate main once per turn. If this leader has battled your opponent's character during this turn, set this leader is active, then this card cannot attack characters with the original cost of 7 or less during this turn. So essentially you get like a dual attack. The idea is that if you put a lot of Dawn on your leader, you're able to like attack into a character on the board and then afterwards attack your opponent's leader identifiably. So that I think is very good in its own way. We do have some ways to kind of facilitate that too. The big card is like the Tashigi 5-drop. So rest up to one of your opponent's characters with an original cost of 6 or less, then give up 2 3 rested Dawn cards to your Zoro leader. So that's something good. Also, I didn't say this, this is Yasaki's version of the deck. This is the one that they got second place in the Hokkaido event too. So if you guys were wanting to check out any of the deck list, the ones that I have on this video, I have the names linked in the description so you guys can check out who they are. So if you want to be able to just look up the list specifically, you can find it in this tournament deck list thing by just looking up their name. So that's what we're doing for this one. But so you know, the kind of most of this deck, and you will see this, a lot of these decks are just focused on using new cards that within their archetypes, which also means that if you are not interested in any of these new leaders, generally there's not a lot of like, I think, open-ended cards that are being used for this. There are some, but not as many. They're very kind of archetype and leader specific for these ones. So we've got 2 searchers. We've got essentially like a 1-drop Bonney searchers for Slash and green event cards. We also have Corona, which is just like a 1-drop on play searcher, so having access to both is pretty neat. So and obviously the your leader has to have the Slash attribute for the Corona, which is a little bit more open-ended, which means that if we have like any green Mihawk like leaders in the future, that could be something that we could use that. And then also the Hiyori has to be Zoro, so there is like a little bit of restrictions, but being able to look at you know, Slash attribute cards, this is like it gets really weird how like the attributes like work in this game right now. They're not really that like they're more like kind of lore and flavor. Like generally Slash or not having Slash has been like the only important thing. There has been like a couple with like some other things, but and like 1-drop Buggy, like the red one's like the only one that's really ever mattered for. So we have Kushiro, which is kind of like a blocker, but also kind of like, it's kind of like a Rosinante and or like a Tashigi kind of thing. We also have the 2K here being able to be kind of a rest card. We've got our actual Tashigi. We've got the promo Zoro, which I don't know, like we're always like I'm very cautious about promos because we don't know if and when we're getting them at any time compared to how they're releasing in Japan. This one I think is just okay. I don't think this is like needed for us if we don't get it on time, but it is like just a Straw Hat Crew Zoro that's a 2K that also gets your boost there, so that's very nice. We do also have like Cavendish can be used because we are able, you know, we are a Supernova leader. I see most people are playing Smoker, especially because it is a Slash card, so that's helpful for us. And then we also have our big boy Mihawk, is another super rare from this. So blocker on play, you can set 4 rested Dawn cards to active, then you may not play a character with a cost of 7 or more during this turn. So essentially in the mid to late game, this costs 4, and then you're able to have like this 8K blocker and still have something else for the turn. So I think this is like a really cool card design, and it has a lot of combo potential too, which is nice. And then we do also have like this 4-drop Zoro, which I've seen this card like people kind of take it or leave it. When this card in your hand, it can be outplayed by an effect. So like 3-drop Mihawk 2K can't play this card is like the only one I can think of. But if your leader has Slash attribute, this character cannot be KO'd by battle by Slash attribute cards. And then also it gains plus 1000 power. So like again, this is like kind of like again like Slash attributes like the only like real important attribute in the game of if you have it or if you don't have it, these things kind of occur kind of thing. So other than that, we do have a good amount of events. We do have the Luffy is the man who will become the Pirate King. This does reset your leader, so you have some ways to you know, get some additional attacks in a turn, which is really nice. And so you can sequence it for like spending like attack with it. You can restand attack into a character again, and then use the activate main to attack a non-character. So you do have to like be cognizant of when you actually use your activate main, because it does restrict some of your attacks, but I do think that this card is great. We do also have the Demonic Aura 9 sword style Asura Dead Man's Game, which this is going to be a card that you know, I think is pretty viable for a lot of decks. So it is a leader counter plus 3K, but also main, you may rest 3 of your Dawn cards, rest up to 2 of your opponent's characters or Dawn cards, which is just great. Like just a good amount of resting for things, like being able to just spend 4 to rest anything. Our Dawn cards is just like it's insane, right? Like this card is a super flexible. I know a lot of people like play Hody, and sometimes that card can be a little bit stuck in hand. This just being like a really open-ended Hody that does have some defensive things is really nice. So you're going to see this tacked into a lot of green decks, I think, into this format moving forward. We have Paradise Waterfall. I know a lot of people use this for one. The trigger effect is actually kind of good in some situations. situations, but also being able to reset one of your characters can be good. So your opponent has to attack into you. It's really good for defending like Cavendish, because if your opponent needs to like try to pressure into that, which is nice too. And then just a 0 cost, because why not? So I know this deck has been played a lot, and I think that Zoro is going to be pretty popular. I know he's obviously a popular character, so there he is. We have also Silver's Rayleigh. This is a really unique leader that has a deck building restriction, which we've had like some like mild deck building restrictions of basically not hard needing to be in the archetype, but like really persuaded to, like the Star deck Uta. But this card you cannot have cards with cost of 5 or greater in your deck according to the rules. So it's specifically 4 cost or lower for the entire deck. Has also activate main once per turn. You may reveal 2 event cards from your hand. Give up to one of your characters the base power 4K or less plus 2K power during this turn. So it's because of all this, you'd have to think like, yeah, there's some really unique things with this leader. One kind of thing is that like we have these 0 cost event cards that are the hockeys, which is really cool. So we do have so this is kind of a John Barrett. You may give 2 active Dawn to your Rayleigh, and then your opponents can activate blocker during if you're that leader or character attacks during this turn. So that's really great. It can give to a leader, or it can give to a character. It's just that silvers that you gave the card to. Also, the other thing you'll notice is that there's this effect of giving active Dawn to things. So it means like cards kind of have like this half cost in my mind, right? Like you don't like pay the cost and then you give it to it. Like it kind of has that, but like it has like some other like benefits too. Also, a lot of these events are like 2K counters to one of your characters or silvers during this turn. So being able to have like this 2K kind of ability on top of it just means like you don't really have to run that many 2Ks in the deck, though obviously we do, but run a couple more. But there's that. We have like and then the hockey. So we have Conqueror's Hockey, gives something plus 2K on a counter, and then if you did, you can rest one of your Dawn cards. If you did, all of your opponent's characters and leaders gain -1,000 for the turn. So just essentially kind of turns your leader into a 6,000 if you want to think of it the other way. It also doesn't choose cards, so I'm like 99% sure the way this card rules is that it's just like an aura effect that happens. So that's pretty strong. We also have Observation Hockey, so you could attach 1 active Dawn to one of your silvers, and then also look top 4 to get a red event card are 1 cost to a greater character added to your hand, so essentially a 3 cost or 4 cost character. And then we also have our Armament, so again you can give a counter plus 2,000. Attach 1 active Dawn to your silvers up to one of your leader's characters, get plus 1,000 for the turn. So pretty neat to be able to have like these kind of really flexible event cards. You need to have 2 to be able to start doing your thing, and then we do have a couple of additional event cards people are running. Generally, King Kong Gatling, being able to use this to get like an additional boost in the mid to late game. But also the Mole Gun, being able to use this card to get some removal, which is great because it's not too difficult to get a 6,000 power character, especially because you're just giving things +2 by just revealing like the Mole Gun in another event in your hand makes something 6,000 power already. So we do have like our generic like good like red Straw Hat cards at the bottom right, which is good. All of these are former Roger Pirates, which just means they're currently really unsearchable outside of the Shakyaku. So look top 5, reveal up to 1 Luffy, our red event card, add to your hand, put the rest of the bottom of your deck in any order. We do have like our 1-drop army of like Nami, Buggy also being like a searcher for these. So sorry, we have event searchers. We just don't have searchers for specifically the former Roger Pirates type. So we also have Machina, which is great for this. I could definitely see like we could potentially put like 2-drop to Dawn into the deck to search out these 1-drops that help our board go a little bit wider. We have the Boa as well. So look top 5, reveal up to 1 event card or Luffy to your hand, place the rest of your bottom in any order, and then also you can trash this character. 2 rested Dawn to one of your leaders or characters, so the idea that you can like attack with it 1 turn and then afterwards pop it to be able to give them additional boost. And then we have our Sanjis for some additional power and card draw. Essentially Zoro as a rush card, and then our super rare Luffy. So if you have 2 or more attached Dawn cards on the field, this gains plus 2,000 power, so this becomes a 6K pretty easily. This is also just any turn, so like this becomes as long as the Dawn is still attached to places, you're fine. Then also on play, you reveal 2 event cards in your hand, play up to 1 red character with the power of 3,000 or less from your hand, then give 1 rested Dawn to your leader or one of your characters. So I think the only thing about this deck that I'm a little bit worried of is that like we don't have a lot of rush outside of Zoro. I know a lot of people are playing 4-drop Kid and Killer as well. It's just like a great way to get some rush in the mid to late game too. Though if you don't have a board, I do think like having to build it every turn again can be a bit of an issue for the deck. But it seems really interesting. The way that it plays is really, really unique, and I know a lot of people are already like theory crafting and enjoy playing it. So here's a list for it if you haven't seen already. This is Son Goku's build for Silver's Rayleigh. And then then also we've got Kuzan. This one's really interesting. We've always had like kind of like we had like this blue and black like navy package, which was supposed to be for Sakazuki, and like Sakazuki got banned, right? So we have all like these navy cards that don't really have a home, and now we have a new one with this Kuzan leader. So this one I haven't seen as much like immediate success with, but I do think this is a lot of has a lot of strength for what it does. So 5-drop, and then when you trash a 5k leader, right, 5 life. When you trash cards from your hand due to your navy card effect, you may draw an equal number of cards that were trashed. So this card gets like a lot of potential card draw. It also means that a lot of these cards are like soft locked to this leader because the card draw or card discard that you have for her is a little bit egregious, but you still can get there. But our big kind of card to start with is Garp. It's a on play, trash 1 card from your hand, play up to 1 blue navy type character with a character power of 8k power less other than Garp from your hand. So being able to have like a body that plays a body is great, and you don't really get like a negative. It's like a draw 1 trash 1, or trash 1 draw 1, I guess is like the way to say it. 2 cards you can play off of it are the Sakazuki. If your leader has the navy type, draw 2, so that's pretty good like value swing for that. And then activating once per turn, you can trash 1 card from your hand to give a rested dawn to your leader or one of your characters. So being able to use that to trash the card, and then you get to draw 1. It's essentially like a lot of these cards are like Sakazuki, where you have a trash 1 draw 1 effect. You just have to kind of use it with your abilities, but being able to get that recursion or to find those cards are really good. We also have Kuzan. If you have 5 or more cards in your hand, this gets a +1 cost, so it becomes a 7 cost. On play, trash 1 card from your hand up to one of your opponent's characters cannot attack until the end of your opponent's next turn. So that's kind of freeze effect is really one apt for how the character works, but it gets that additional benefit. We also have Zephyr. This is a 2k, but on play, trash 2 cards from your hand. You can trash this character, return up to 1 character with a cost of 5 or less to its owner's hand. And we also have Suru. So this is an older card that just becomes amazing. So on play, trash 2 cards from your hand. Your opponent returns one of their characters to their owner's hand. They have to choose the character, but if they only have one, being able to play a 5-drop that you get to trash 2, draw 2 is pretty strong, I think. So this is kind of like ways like older cards become a little bit more relevant for these kind of archetypes. We have like Garp, kind of same thing. You get to draw 2, you return the 2, so you don't get to like get the double draw. This card would be broken otherwise, to be able to like draw 2 cards, trash 2 cards, and then draw 2 more cards. Like that is absurd. So I do want to note that is how that works, so you don't get that draw 4 essentially. We do have some like additional like Shishigi from OP06 is like a searcher for the deck, which is great. Sengoku, trash 1 card from your hand, look top 5, get 2 navy type characters. And then you still get like the additional cards for it, so that's really good. So like you get to draw a lot of cards, right? You play this, you get to draw 2 navy cards, and then you get to draw 1 more off your leader. And then we have Hina. So rest this character, trash 1. If you're up to one of your opponent's characters with original cost of 4 or less, cannot activate blocker this turn. So having like a 2k that gets around blocker. Generally those are kind of what have been kind of devolving into a lot of decks, right? That's kind of the ability for it. So other than that, draw 2, trash 1 from Cavendish. This doesn't have it's navy card effect, so this is not navy, so that's something to know. This also this Borsellino gets protection. If removed from your effect, you can trash 1 card from your hand. So the Borsellino protection is still really good. It's pretty much like the 4/6 blocker that we know from black from OP02. It's just like blue colored, so that's there, and kind of like the rest of the deck. So it's really interesting. You get like a lot of consistency because you do get like a lot of draws and discards. I think like the power level top end from this deck is like a little bit less. There's not like a lot of removal, which we kind of associate with a lot of like these navy cards, but we still do have access to Raging Tiger, which is a navy type character card, which is nice. We do have the Red Rock, tried and true, in Ice Block Pheasant. So up to one of your leader characters get plus 4k power during this battle, and then you can trash 1 card from your hand. This card's kind of silly, right? This is really interesting because it's kind of like a bit of a giant kind of effect, right? It's only like a draw 1, trash 1, so you don't like gain cards for it, but this is something where you can get like a plus 4k, and then you're not like really worried about it. So and then like the trigger, same thing. It's both turns of both players' turns for Kuzan, so you get a lot of like these trash 2, draw 2 kind of abilities because of that too. So really interesting leader. I'm gonna be interested to see how it kind of develops for the next couple bits, but there it is. And then Sanji's probably, I would say, like fringe competitive right now. It's only gotten a couple little tops here in there. Not as, I don't think it's like the same level as Zoro and Silver's Rayleigh, but it is a really interesting leader. It is a blue purple straw hat crew leader, so you know what that means. You get a lot of benefits for a lot of things, but it is a really cool leader, kind of how the mechanics work for it. So activate main once per turn, Dawn -1, activate to 1, straw hat crew type event card from your hand with the original cost of 3 or less. And then also when attacking, if the number of your Dawn cards in your field is equal to or less than the number of your opponent's fields, you get to add 1 Dawn from your Dawn deck and rest it. So what you get to do is, let's say you're at 2 and your opponent's at, or sorry, you're at 3 and your opponent's at like 2 Dawn, right? Just like how the game starts. You can use this Dawn -1 to play 3 or less that you can attack with your leader, and then you get the Dawn back, right? So like you do get like that easy recursion. And kind of the idea for this deck is to put 4 or more event cards into your trash, and if you do so, you get kind of rewarded. So first we get being able to look for Sanji or event cards is pretty good, so that's there. This also can be used for like blue purple Luffy being able to find blue Sanji or like giant or any of your ramp cards. So I can mildly see this being kind of good in the future for blue purple as well. Sanji, this character gets plus 1000 power for every 5 event cards in your trash, but this is both players' turns. And then if this character would be removed from your field by your opponent's effect, you can return 1 Dawn from your Dawn deck instead. So kind of the idea with this deck is you get this Sanji, which becomes a little bit more powerful in the late game and pretty big, and also Reiju. So if your trash is 4 or more event cards, this gains plus 2k power and plus 5 cost and is a blocker. So what you can really do is like these can become 7ks pretty easy that you play for cheap, have like protection from this becoming a 9 cost, which is really hard to interact with, and you get those kind of additional abilities. So other than that, we have like Nami, since we are a multicolor leader. We have Sanji because it's a 2k that's searchable, and then we have a good amount of events. So we have this one being able to just draw cards. So just for 1, you get to put an event into our trash, but also counter if you have 4 or more event cards. This gets to be a plus 4k, so really good defensive tool. Luffy is the man who will become a Pirate King, just a searcher event. So either one of these 1-drops being searchers are good to be able to kind of use in tandem for early gameplay with your Sanji. We have Giant, which we don't have to explain. We've got Let's Crash Your Wedding, which is from OP11. It's for technically Nami, but you can use this for Sanji just as well, if not better in some cases. And then we have our 2 like 3-cost Straw Hat Crew cards. So if your leader's multicolored, you either get to bounce a 4 or less to the owner's hand, or if you have 6 or less cards in your hand, you get to draw 2, which is really nice. Then we also have the Jet here, so you get to place one of your opponent's character's original cost of 4 or less to the bottom of their owner's deck, and 1 or less from the trigger. So I think these are both just okay. Like you feel like you kind of need to use it, but also like you don't get like really any negatives for using them early game, because like on 3 Dawn, let's say your opponent plays like a 2-drop searcher or something, you are totally fine to just like use this effect to bottom deck it with the -1 because you get the Dawn back. So you can do something where like you play like one of your 1-drops and you use your Dawn effectively, and you just kind of go from there. So other than that, we still have like Red Rock as a searchable Straw Hat Crew and really good. We play a lot of blockers because I think again, like we don't really have any like big boss monsters, at least in this build for it, but being able to have like these cheap blockers, I think help out a lot for the deck too. So really interesting how the deck works. I think it's something that we might be able to crack the code in the next couple weeks, and there it is. So those are all the new leaders that I have deck lists for, and then we'll quickly go over some older leaders that have been doing well. We've got Zoro, which is able to win the Hokkaido Championship, which this deck is still just really good. I don't know what to say. We are just playing mostly the new Straw Hat stuff, and by new I mean the old one, and by Straw Hat stuff I mean we're playing just a lot of like the Tony Chopper animal package, which has been pretty viable for this deck from release in OP08 almost a year ago. So we've got a couple of like pieces of support here and there, right? We've got like the Gum Gum Mole Gun. We also do have the like this Frankie, like one of like, you know, fun card, right? It's a 2k counter that also gives plus 2k if your opponent activates event cards, which I think are happening way more often than that. You guys know what Zoro looks like. I think that it's really good in 2 day 1 formats, which this essentially was the day 1 format for this Hokkaido event, and yeah, it's still doing good. And we also have the newer Zoro, which is the one that for that same event, Zoro got 2nd place for the Hokkaido one. Where is the Hokkaido one? This one, yeah. So it got 1st and 2nd between the Zoros. So there it is. Nami also was able to win one of the events too, which there is like in my tier list, like there's like Zoro, Nami, and like Yellow Katakuri. Like those 3, they're leaders that have just like been around for a long time, and they still just get these random tops from it. So there is like a new card for this deck, kind of, which the Young Girl, which is a promo that I currently don't know how we're getting. They might have announced it, but I don't think there's a knowledge of how this deck or this we get this card, which helps both of the Nami leaders, which we'll talk about the other one in a minute. But on play, you get to draw one, trash one from your hand, so you get to go deeper into your deck for the Nami. But also activate main once per turn. You can give one rested Dawn to your Nami, so it can be to any of your Nami cards. It can also be to this, which has its Dawn ×1 effect as well. So in case you need to like pressure to get some more trashing, that does sometimes happen, I think too. So there it is. We also have our kind of new Nami, which I really like this leader. I kind of mentioned this earlier. This is a deck that just has like, I will never get like the card pool that I want until like late September, maybe. I think this promo works way better for this leader, just being able to give the rested Dawn to your leader every turn. If they don't remove it, just means that, you know, people have been playing like 2-drop Teach for the deck, which I've been kind of slowly getting around to saying, you know, the card is not awful, but being able to use this card to get that additional Dawn to your leader is great, and like the extra cycle is just really, really strong. The other kind of thing to mention is that we do have the Odin, which we are not going to get until September, but this is like a really good late game card for us because there's a lot of protection. Being able to bounce cards back to your hand is generally positive in this deck because we either get a draw or we have like kind of like early game, we're playing out a lot of our 2-drops like Nojikos and Zeus's, so being able to put those back to your hand and then being able to play like Nojiko again and also get benefits from this leader attack, or this attacking, is good. And again, the protection for discarding 2 is not too expensive because we are generally pretty high in our hand count. And then we also have like the new Kuma card, which is from the Yasaka rare from OP12. So trash one card from your hand, add top card of your deck to your life, then this gets +2 cost until the opponent's next turn. So this also is a 1k counter. This also is on KO. You know, you get to trash a card from your hand. Like there's a lot of just the good things with this card that ends up just working out for us as well. So it's also a 7 Warlords, which is searchable off of Sengoku as well if you want to play this like more of like a 7 Warlords package. And I really look forward to playing this. This card looks really sick. It looks really fun, really fun. So other than that, I think Nami's cool in this format. It's been doing mildly well. It got second place at a big event at the end of OP11 in Japan, but again, they did have the Odin because they had that starter deck as well. But I think it's a very viable deck, and I'm looking forward to seeing it do some more in our format in OP12 as well. Lucci just continues to be around. I don't know what to say about this deck anymore. It is just so good at like not dying, right? Like it's just around. This got second place in the the Kyoto event as well, losing to Nami in the finals, which that makes sense, right? The Nami's like a little bit like this deck is not as like aggressive, and Nami's a bit tougher to we don't really have any like bottom decks or way to really interact with them that much. So I think Lucci's in a good spot still. It's really cool to see it still do well despite all the restrictions it's lost and everything. Like this is still like what? This is an OP 8 deck essentially, right? Is that the newest card in this deck, right? These are just old cards that are still working like a year later. No changes and still in a good spot. Like no organic changes, right? We had like the restriction with Moria, Ice A's, the lobby as well, but other than that, I think Lucci's still good, so you're still going to see it popping up here and there. We also have Bonney, which Bonney did get some good support cards, I think, in green. We also, this is pre-starter deck, so there are some additional additions that could pop up from that starter deck as well. We do have the new secret rare for Bonney as well, which both of the secret rares I think are just fantastic. So on play, if you have 8 or more rested characters, 8 or more rested cards, draw 2, trash 1, and then you get to set one of your Dawn as active. So, and it's a blocker. So the fact that this is kind of like green's like queen blocker is really, really good. The condition can sometimes be a little bit tough to get to have 8 or more rested cards, so you have to have 3 additional cards rested before you play the Bonney, but you can really easily do that kind of with Mihawk. So if you get set 5 so if you're at 9 Dawn, you can do something where you play Mihawk, and then you have 5 Dawn, you play out Bonney, you have 1 Dawn, and you have that for your leader effect. So being able to get some cycle, being able to put 2 blockers out on the board at the same time, I think that's a really good play, and we're going to see that a little bit more often. We also just don't see 8-drop Kid in this build too, which is really interesting too. And we do have Hody as well. I think Bonney can still get away with playing Hody since we do have such a big life count that we generally like playing it on 7 is not like a bad play in a lot of situations too, but we'll see if that kind of changes in the next little bit. So here's Bonney. We've got some purple Luffy's, right? I think purple Luffy's just in a good spot still for this meta. There's not really any changes, and it's still like the most successful leader to get into a top cut. So I don't have much more to say. Like this, I could show you this list and you're like, oh, this is an OP11 build of Luffy because it essentially is. There's no real card changes that you really make. Like Miss Double Fingers, like a bit of a weird tech ad, but like nothing too crazy. And then we do also have green purple Luffy. This did get a big boost, I think, from I'm going to say it again, Demon Aura 9 sword style Astra Blades Drawn Dread Man's game, because we can't really play Hody in this deck, right? The fact that it's a non-straw hat, which makes it removes from our leader ability that kind of effect. So because of that, I do think this is a deck that really gets the benefit from it. We also have the 2 sword style here, so rest 2 Dawn cards, KO one of your opponent's rest character with base cost of 4 or less, and also so this can get rid of like some blockers weirdly in some situations too for like 1 less. And also these cards are Straw Hat Crew cards, so they're very searchable off of our, when you're at sea, the Nami and Zoro can't find them because they're purple. He's purple and he only searches purple stuff and not green. But generally speaking, I think this deck having like kind of like an in archetype Hody like effect is really, really strong and can help you against like blue purple in a lot of ways too. So lastly, we do have green yellow law, which this deck I think is going to get a lot better with the new star decks too. The Kid Killer card is really good for this deck, though we do have like another searcher supplementing it too, with the Perona as well. Also the Bonney is just like a really good 5 cost to play off this deck to help us find like some additional cards and stuff. This card doesn't have Supernova type, which is I just find super weird because the Zoro leader has Supernova, but this card doesn't, but it's like the support for that card. So it's really willy-nilly when they decide to give Zoro cards the Supernova type. So it's obviously you kind of miss that because this card would be infinitely searchable in this deck otherwise. But I think you're still in a good spot with it. You still like the cycle to try to find it. Perona still can find it too with its effect, which might mean that it's just better than Kid Killer in some spots. But I also could see like you taking out Bonney and then putting 2-drop Kid Killer and then having Perona, Luffy, and Bonney instead, and Kid Killer instead. So there's this is definitely a deck there you have to fight for like what your build really looks like. A lot of the time there's just so many cards that can be put in these spots and there's only so much room in the deck too. So I have been seeing a good amount of resurgence for green yellow law in our own OP11 format, and it's cool to see it's still doing well in OP12 as well. So anyways, that's going to be it for this video. I know we just kind of talked a lot. Again, if you want any of these deck lists, you can find them on my website, Eggman Events. It's a little bit bare for some data right now just because it's still coming out, but I'll be continuing to update these as we get more data, and I'm looking forward to seeing what it looks like and also what the star decks do for the Japanese meta too. So that's going to be it for me. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you all next time.